Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And on this Sunday, I wanted to make a more relaxed video. So this will be a longer video discussing Verizon and them potentially reversing its customer losses in the fourth quarter and what, changes, what they could potentially do, the changes that are coming in Q1. So I wanted to speak on that in this video. Great article from Mike over at Light Reading. I will leave it in the description if you haven't seen it. We already covered it on the channel. But in today's video, I wanted to talk a bit from a different perspective. So if Verizon does come out and says that, yes, we did post some positive consumer numbers in terms of growth and growing the postpaid side, a lot of analysts and even a lot of you will probably ask the question, how did they do it? What happened? They didn't really make any big changes. They didn't drop price. They didn't make any structural changes internally. So what happened, right? So we have Verizon 1.0, 2.0, 2.3. Those are all just buzzwords. Doesn't really mean much unless there's actual changes implemented. Verizon came out, they said Verizon 1.0, a lot of marketing stuff, a lot of analyst talk. Then they came out 2.0, then 2.3 recently, right? Doesn't mean anything to you, to me, to analysts. It doesn't really mean anything. A lot of people want to see factual numbers. So I'm being sent stuff internally that, hey, this change is coming, this change is coming, but it's all subject to change. So I don't want to speak on that today because I know for a fact none of that stuff is going to be implemented this late in Q4. The fourth quarter ends at the end of December. So a lot of these changes are going to be implemented in the first quarter of 2023. And some of them that I'm being told, if it does come to fruition, are going to be actual structural changes to the way that Verizon operates on the retail side, on the sales side. And that's good because I feel 2023 is going to get even more competitive for Verizon than 2022 was, right? A lot of financial analysts are predicting the economy to get even worse in 2023 from a financial aspect. So that could further accelerate the need for people to go to MVNOs, to go to a cheaper T-Mobile, to go to prepaid. So that could further accelerate that, and that could be another negative for Verizon. So as they make these structural changes, and I want to make it very, very clear in this video, the only thing that I have not heard is anything price related. So everything that I have received, none of it has Verizon lowering its prices. So I just want to get that out the way. Could that still happen? Potentially. But none of the stuff that I've received is discussing a price drop from Verizon for 2023. So we'll have to see, and we'll have to continue to monitor, but we will get some guidance from Verizon at the fourth quarter earnings call for 2023. We'll get CapEx guidance. We'll get the financial outlook. We might get some network tidbits. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Verizon handles 2023. I think 2023 is a more important year for Verizon to make a shift than 2022 ever was. And they took losses in 2022. They took a loss in Q1, Q2, Q3. They are expected to turn positive in the fourth quarter per the numbers. So we'll see. But I could see if they don't make a structural change to benefit the consumer, such as a price drop, I could see them struggling even worse in 2023, especially as T-Mobile opens up more of that marketing competition in rural America. That's where Verizon has its stronghold, if you will. I know AT&T is cutting into some of that, but there's a lot of markets where Verizon is just number one by a long shot. And if T-Mobile, they go in, they're loud, they have at least a halfway decent network, I could see them taking some serious share from Verizon in those parts. And the reason I bring up those parts is because T-Mobile has nothing but upside there, right? T-Mobile is the share leader in the top 50 and fair share in the top 100 markets. T-Mobile will continue growing that. That's where their network is the most impressive, if you will. I know there's some markets, give or take, that are bad still, but the markets where they have high 2.5 utilization, I mean, the speeds are just that much faster versus the lack of scale of C-band, right? That's going to change, of course, but there are some bigger markets, outside of cities, like, for example, and I'm just throwing an example, right? El Paso is about a mid-sized market, right? We're about 18th if you consider population. But then there's Las Cruces, which is about 40 miles west of here. That's a smaller market, about 200,000 in population, and 2.5 is just dominant in that market in terms of scale. C-band's not there yet. So if you're with AT&T or with Verizon, and you seek T-Mobile for a cheaper cost, and you get on that network, they're going to have a dominating network in those parts, just on speed alone. Now, I know speed is not everything. Calling plays a factor, reliability, indoor performance, all of that plays a factor. But that's sort of what T-Mobile is doing currently. They're soaking up the opportunity. They're looking at markets where Verizon and AT&T have no C-band presence, and they're attacking. They're going hard on marketing, very aggressive, 20% cheaper, free this, free that. Oh, we'll give you a rebate on home internet. They're sending flyers to houses. I've seen it. They're very aggressive in those markets because they believe they have a huge head start on 2.5 scale in specific markets. Although that scale is getting smaller in the top markets, right? Top 46, Verizon is closing in very, very fast. They got additional markets cleared, about 30 of them, so that's about 76. I don't know the exact order, but it's about the top 76 where Verizon is going. They're on a rampage. And the money is there, the green light is there, the equipment is there in most cases. So they're just going boom, 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 one after another, boom, 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 trying to close the gap to T-Mobile so that T-Mobile doesn't have that opportunity to say, hey, look, we are just that much faster in that area. They're using speed. If you look at everything overall, they're not coming out and they're saying we have the best network for calling. They're coming out and they're saying we have the fastest 5G network. So they're using speed as a metric to market its network, that it's better. And people are starting to perceive that a faster speed is a better network, when that's not always the case, right? Sometimes you'll see Verizon at 30, 40 megabits a second load stuff faster versus a T-Mobile that's 400 or 500 megabits a second on that same connection. So you got to take that into consideration in terms of networking as well. But I think that's a problem that Verizon is faced with, and they haven't really shifted and adjusted. I know the marketing right now is a bit higher in terms of spend because they're sponsored by NFL, World Cup, and you're seeing them all over TV. So that has likely helped Verizon. They're using the network as, hey, we have the better network, and that is still the case. Although T-Mobile has faster speeds at more scale, right, with 2.5, there are still large geographical footprint in areas of the United States where T-Mobile has no service at all, and Verizon still has LTE in those areas, whether that be band 13, band 4, or aggregated between both, and you're only getting 10, 15 megabits a second still. You have service versus nothing. So you got to take all that into consideration as Verizon heads into 2023. They're trying to figure it out, from what I'm being told. They're in meetings. They're looking at it. They're in touch with the sales base. Manon is talking to the Verizon consumer group. They're trying to get headed back in the right direction. They know fixed wireless access is very successful, and it's a very key part in terms of that wireless growth. But for now, the way it's structured, people are not taking wireless that are getting fixed wireless access in many cases. They like the pricing for fixed wireless access, but they don't like the price for wireless. It's just too expensive. So that's the video that I wanted to make today. Just kind of wanted to go through what I'm hearing. I didn't want to specifically state anything that I'm hearing because it's still subject to change. So I'm waiting on further confirmation on those things actually being implemented. But from what I'm hearing, it's a step in the right direction positively, and we'll see when it gets implemented. So let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.